Hello everyone, Timothy here again. Do you know what? There are many things that people take for granted and which aren't actually true. For example, in Hamlet, Shakespeare is quoted to have said, "Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him well." But in fact what he wrote was, "Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him Horatio." And for anybody to make that mistake is really barred. Apologise for my terrible joke there. Now, in the winter time, when it's very cold in the UK, surely the Earth is further away from the sun than it is in the summertime. Well, no, that's not true. That's not true. Australia's winter occurs when the Earth is furthest away from the sun, but the UK's winter occurs when the Earth is closest to the sun. If you look at this diagram, you'll see that the Earth goes on an elliptical orbit around the sun. And on the one side, where it's further away, it so happens that the tilt of the Earth means that we are in summer in the northern hemisphere and we're furthest away. And on the other side, the tilt stays the same and we're closest to the sun and we are in winter time. It's hard to believe, isn't it? The UK or Australia, one of them had to lose out on that one, I'm afraid. Have you ever fancied going for a swim at the seaside on a hot June day? Well, it's been very, very tempting. Well, actually, science shows that it's pleasant to go for a dip in the sea on a cold, chilly October day because the temperature of the sea water is that bit higher. That's amazing, isn't it? That's why the seasons sometimes lag behind the longest and the shortest days. Now, I won't say I wonder how many people this has happened to because hopefully it's not happened to anybody. But just say you're in a lift and you know, you're looking up around and the lift cable snaps and you're in a very high skyscraper and the lift is going down at an increasing speed. What's the best thing to do? Now, I would have thought most people would say jump just before you get to the bottom. Well, that isn't the best thing to do. Firstly, if it was, how would you know when to jump? Secondly, you'd probably bang your head on the ceiling. No, what the best thing to do is, paradoxically, lay flat on your back with your arms and legs outstretched. The fall would probably still kill you, but all the energy would be dissipated throughout your whole body and might help a bit. Have you ever noticed in the evening, sometimes on a summer's day, the sky's clear above, more or less, and you've got all these clouds clumped on the horizon? Now, I used to think when I was a youngster, oh, it's raining over there. I'm glad that we're here because it's nice and dry and there's no rain falling. But you see all the grey clouds on the horizon and you think, oh gosh, that's terrible. But it's an optical illusion. If you were to be where you can see on the horizon, you would notice that the clouds are spaced out just as they were where you were before. And from your new frame of reference, you would see that the clouds are clumped together on the horizon from your new vantage point. You see, it's an optical illusion. An effect called parallax causes this illusion, and I think the diagram explains what's happening. Now come on, the moon surely doesn't affect our summer holidays. How on earth can the moon affect what happens at the seaside? Well, did you know that the tides occur entirely because of the moon's gravity? They pull the sea and they pull it back as the Earth goes around. The water gets tugged by the moon, hence you get the tides. That is what happens. If there was no moon, then there would be no tides. And as I say, what that would do for climate, God only knows, but there would be no tides, and I'm sure life would be very different. Right, when the sun is shining brightly in the sky, we are seeing the sun as it is now. Well, no, we're not. We're seeing the sun as it was 9 minutes 20 seconds ago. And this is due to the fact that the Earth is about 93 million miles from the sun, and light travels 186,000 miles per second, which is incredibly fast. But even so, covering that distance at that speed would still take a light beam 9 minutes and 20 seconds. So if the Earth lost its sun, the sun just suddenly disappeared, you wouldn't know about it until 9 minutes 20 seconds after the event had happened.